Okay, quick little intro before I get into this. I just got back from going for my green Ps, which if you aren't familiar with the Australian licenses, pretty much you're on your learners for a year and that's when you have to drive with a a full licensed driver. Then you get your red Ps and you can drive unsupervised, but you can only do 90 and you can't tow. And you're on that for a year. And then I just got my green Ps, so I just passed my test, which means I can start learning how to tow a float. I'm so excited. Hi guys, it's Talisha and today I am going to be filming tips and advice for your first horse show. This is part of my show series, so I've done one other video for my show series which was a packing for a long show, and I mean, just go check it out. So whether it's your first show or your 10 millionth show, I think this video could be helpful for everyone. So first of all, for the night before, I really recommend washing your horse beforehand, or you could do this on the day of the show, depends on what your start is. Typically my shows are quite early, so I always wash the day before. If you don't have time to braid the next morning, also braid the night before, which is what I normally do, and then you can put like slinkies and rugs over them to keep their braids in. And then on top of that is having a presentable tack as well as presentable clothing for yourself. So this means cleaning your tack the night before, making sure all your clothes are washed and look neat for the show the next day. So yes, make sure you're really presentable and both looking nice. And then also for the night before is organization. So I have a list on my phone which I find really helpful. So when I pack my horse's gear and when I pack for myself, whatever I need to wear and just everything, I put on a list and then I check it off as I put everything in the car once it's packed. And I go over it again to make sure I haven't forgotten anything, because I have actually forgotten a bridle before. Yeah, that doesn't really help. Lucky enough that it was at a riding school so I could just borrow one of theirs, which was great, but not something you really want to be forgetting. Also, when you're packing, I do recommend packing 2 or more of every like necessary item. And when I say necessary, I don't mean like, you know, a comb or something. I mean like 2 halters, 2 lead ropes in case it breaks, maybe some spare rugs. I have actually had a lead rope broken on me before when I was just staying overnight. One night at a show, Jet broke my lead rope and I didn't have a spare one. So especially if you're staying for like a week at a show, I definitely recommend bringing a bunch of different rugs and little essential things like that. A lot of the shows where you stay at for like a week or so will have stalls, so if you do forget something or if something breaks, you can buy from their stalls, but they'll normally be quite pricey because they know people will forget things or break things, so you have no choice but to buy from them. Also recommend having an early night, so having a decent sleep is really, really important, because then you wake up feeling refreshed and ready for the long day at the horse show, because horse shows are long and they take a lot of energy out of you, so having an early night really helps you feel ready for the big day ahead. And now for the day / morning of the show. Number 1 is eat. Definitely have breakfast. And I really do know when you're nervous, the last thing you feel like is eating, especially. I used to be like this when I first started competing. I could never eat in the mornings, but then now I wake up before a show and I'm starving. I have to eat. But I found that when I didn't eat, I normally didn't eat the whole day because I got so nervous and I just wasn't hungry. But then at the end of the day is when you start to feel it. I also have this habit of not drinking, and I'll get a horrible headache and I'll just feel miserable. If you have a good breakfast, even if it's just like a smoothie with bananas and fruit in it, it will give you the energy you need to get through the day. And obviously another big one is I typically only drink water throughout the day, but on really hot days I do recommend maybe bringing a Powerade or something, some sort of electrolyte drink, so when it is really hot and you're sweating quite a lot, you can get all of that back in you. I normally never have any of those drinks because preferably I just like water. I find it's a lot better for you, but if it is a really, really hot summer day, I will have a Powerade. It will stop me from getting dehydrated. The next thing I have, which is I find really, really important, and I've always been on time for all of my shows for this reason, is allow extra time in the morning for everything. So before I go to bed and before I set my alarm, I think, okay, so before I leave my property to the show, well, how much time do I need for everything? And I'll allow set amount of times for everything, whether it's getting dressed, doing my hair, getting Jep out of the paddock, putting her float boots on and getting her on the float. I'll allow a little extra time for all of that. And I'll have a set time that I want to leave with Jep on the float and driving out of the driveway. And then I also allow a heap of extra time at shows. Typically for dressage or shows, I will allow an hour before I'm on the horse. So that allows time for me to check the braids, put any makeup or anything necessary on the horse to make her presentable. Dressage, obviously you don't need as much as you do for showing and hacking. If it's something like show jumping or something, I won't allow quite as much time because she doesn't need to look as presentable and she won't be braided. And then I allow time for my warm-up, whether it's like, for Jep I don't really need much of a warm-up. So normally I just warm her up for 10, but I'll put it for 20 minutes just so I know that I have plenty of time. And I've always been on time for all of my classes and everything. I've never been late, so it works really well. So obviously, yeah, getting there to the show with plenty of time to spare and allowing plenty of time for everything. And the last thing, of course, is have fun. A competition or a show should be something that you enjoy. It shouldn't feel like a chore or really, really stressful. Of course you will be stressed, but the main thing is that you get out there and have fun. Don't just go in for the ribbons, especially for your first show. Don't aim for something like that. Really the only reason you're competing is for ribbons. I mean, I don't really see the point of it. I know people are like that. I'm a very competitive person and I really enjoy placing and going well at comps, but I don't just do it for that reason. If I come out of it and don't get a ribbon or don't place, I still will have enjoyed the day, and that's why I do it. I'm not just in it for the qualifications, the places, the ribbons. I'm in it because I enjoy getting out there and showing what Jep and I can do. That's what I love doing, and I know Jep loves the competition environment just like I do. We're both very competitive, so it fits well. But yeah, so it's alright to want a ribbon and a place. I always go out there wanting that as well, but at the end of the day, you've got to have fun, and the reason you're doing it has to be because you enjoy it. That just comes along after your hard work starts paying off, and that's the rewards you get. So that's pretty much all my tips. I hope it helped, and yeah, if you want to see any other videos related to showing and competitions, comment them down below and I'll be sure to film them. I have a lot of videos planned for this series, and I just thought this one was another good video to start off the series with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my vlog. Bye!